Hey Monte, this is Rick. I want to give you a little bit of a tip on how I write these decision tree things, and this is what the one I've written most recently looks like. It's in a program called Adobe Captivate. Adobe's the same people who make Photoshop and Illustrator, stuff like that. So I'm going to move some stuff out of the way here. I'll show you what I made. So it's kind of like PowerPoint on steroids. It does a lot more than PowerPoint does, but this is it in a nutshell. So the slides, list of slides here on the left, and these are what we call fluid boxes on the right, and they have actions associated with them. So if you pick, in this case, this is if you click here, these are the fluid boxes. There's one big box around the whole thing, and then there is inside that's another box that contains just these two boxes, and there's some box in the bottom which contains buttons that tell you to go home, previous slide, next slide. So if I click on like this home one, for example, this says here use as a button, and the action is jump to slide 1. So that's how you know to go home. And this one says it has an action associated with go to next slide, and this one says go to previous slide. So if you click M2000, if you were to click on this shape, it says action jump to slide 2, 5, 20% solutions, because we know that's a 20% solution. So that goes down to slide 5, and then on slide 5 has the things we can do with it. Now, our plan is if we click cement kiln or something here below, that it will take us to a map of the cement kilns, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. But let's say you were just Monty and you just wanted to edit something that I made. Let's say you wanted to add another option here, or to change something. If you wanted to change cement kilns to cement kilns, you just put a S there, you're done. If you wanted to add another choice, you would just click on the main box that contains these. You click up here and you go horizontal. You just click one more, and it adds another choice. You can Command C, Command V, paste another shape here, and put whatever else you might have come up with. Send to Monty's house. Something like that. It would be another choice, and it's there. And now they have a choice. So they click on it. We're going to send them to another slide. Again, we just use it as a button. People can click on it. And here's what it looks like in action. You want to see it working. You click on like this previous slide here. You go preview, play this project from this slide, and it will start to generate the program. Here it comes. You click that, and I have it set with rollovers. Whoops, there's some sound. I have it set with rollover, so you click on it, takes us to the right slide, and then there's a button here that says send to Monty, which you don't know what that's going to do yet. So that's the gist of it. That is how you and it makes it as a web page. To save it, you can publish it as an app for a phone, publish for a mobile device, publish as a web device, as a standalone program, or even as a video that people just watch on the web. And that's it. That is the gist. If it's made up already, it's all you got to do. Next time, I'll show you. I'm working on this slide here, which is search by your geolocation. So my idea is you search by your location, and then this image will turn into a map that will have some of the locations highlighted. So, for example, I'll change this image now to another image that I have selected. Well, it'll probably take me a while. I'll do it later. But I have other images I can show you. Hold on one second. So here I did it real quick. And so I just loaded up a Google map, and I've got some locations here. And when you highlight these locations with a mouse or your finger, my idea is to have a little box pop up with the contact information, the website, the phone number, email address of each of those locations. These are not real locations. And it would pick up your location. So what you would do is you would click to search by your location. We would just put an action. We would make it an advanced action. I haven't done this yet, but we will. And then we'll say, hey, what is your location, right? We'd say, hey, this is, we'd have to create a variable that's your location first. And so we would say, hey, what is your location of like Lusaka or something like that? I clicked this already, actually. And then you just choose it on the map and say, hey, this is your location. You can make this circle as big or as small as you want. You can even zoom in and just get a particular, hospital or something, or even a room in a hospital if you wanted. I think you have like a 19-foot radius to work with. So you just kind of zoom in or out as far as you want, and then you just say, hey, I think you can even go to like satellite view and get like right on any individual spot, and then we would say, hey, if you're at this corner right here, and we'll just, oh, here we go, here's a medical hospital right here, we'll scoot it over to Marshlands Hospital. If you're there, and then we'll just submit that data, that becomes this location, that becomes location of Lusaka when we close it. And then we would say, as a conditional action, we would say if your location is the action of is that place, then you would so if the variable is which is called CP info, I think it's called CP info geolocation. So we go to CP info geolocation, which is what they get from your phone or your tablet or your computer. We go to geolocation. CP info geolocation is equal to, and then we just pick the variable, and then we would just put in Lusaka here, location of Lusaka. Then the action they would perform is to pull up to change the image to the Lusaka map. And if else, we would go back to the next condition and say if it's another country, another country, and then that's the action. That's how that works, and it would just pull up the map for that country. Once we get all that information, we can make these lists, and then people can get that. That's what they would see after they click the cement kiln. So again, if you were to make one of these, I mean, I don't envision this ever happening, but if you make one of these from scratch, let's say we want a slide, we want to start with a blank slide, and you want to make your own brand new thing that Rick didn't make. You just start by saying, hey, I want to make 3 fluid boxes here. I'm going to make the top one skinny and the bottom one skinny, and then I will copy, or put some other things in here from this other slide. I will copy these, or I'll just put my own images down here. Actually, let's just say tell you what, I'll just put an object, a shape that says home or something here. I'll just put a box. Box will say home, and you might want it to look like however you want, and you can do that by going over here to the properties. Click on this, and you get the style of it, and you can get all the different. You can make it look however you want. You can change the fill color to blue, and the text here to some other color. You could make it. The text could be make the color text white, for example. And then there's a home button. We'll click that, and we'll say what we want to do. When you click it, it's going to be as a button, and its action is to go to jump to slide 1, and then there you go. And then we want to put your selections of things you want to choose in here. We would click this middle fluid box and we'd say, hey, put in 3 vertical boxes, or sorry, horizontal boxes. 1, 2, 3. And then in each of these we would draw a shape or put a picture. We'll put a picture of an instrument, for example. Let's put in we'll insert an image in here. Let's say I'll go to media, image. I'll pick these are just BioMeriU. We're not using that, but I'll pick a BioMeriU. If we had a picture of the instrument, click that. We would say use the image as a button. So we would say use as a button, and the person clicks on this, and it could be a picture of the actual instrument, and it takes them to wherever they want to go. And you can put more things over here. You can have sounds play, like whatever you want to do. You can do that. And again, as I forgot to mention this here, but also these things know what kind of device you're on. So this one says, hey, you're on a desktop. Looks like this, but as you shrink it down, this is if you get a smaller and smaller screen. There's a tablet. This is what it would look like on a smartphone or a very small screen, and they're sort of adaptive, and they sort of line themselves up in a way that's intelligent. So that's the gist of it. If you can do those things I just showed you, you can change anything that I make and update these to your heart's content. Take care, Monty. Bye-bye.